This is the story of Maria Garcias and how the earthquake changed her life and her city. The little 10-year-old girl lived in a small town in Mexico City with her family and friends. She loved to draw and play in the yard, especially with her neighbors. Because her family lived in a small apartment building, she became very close to all those who lived near her. They shared memories in those buildings, hundreds of Christmases and Dias de los Muertos. All of the Garcias family's possessions and treasured photos lay safely in boxes, tucked under their beds. Maria's parents, and their parents, and their parents had lived in the same building. Walking through the kitchen, she could feel the stories that the tables and chairs held in their wooden frames, splintered from decades of making tamales together. In the living room, she could lay on top of the same couch that her great-grandmother did when she was Maria's age. She would sit on the floorboards of her home, thinking about how hard her abuelos worked for her to be able to live there, go to school, and still take art classes. Maria knew that, no matter where she went, Mexico City would always be her home. But on March 5th, 1985, that changed forever.
Está temblando un poquitito. No se asusten, vamos a quedarnos. Les doy la hora. 7 de la mañana, Chihuahua. 7 de la mañana, 19 minutos, 42 segundos. Tiempo del centro de México. Sigue temblando un poquitito, pero pues vamos a tomarlo con una gran tranquilidad. Vamos a esperar un segundo para poder hablar.
When the quake stops, 6,000 people are dead. But amid the destruction, a miracle is about to take place.
We've had a disaster in Mexico City. I say again, we've had an earthquake in Mexico City.
Citizens immediately begin digging through the rubble for anyone who might be alive, using nothing but simple tools in their bare hands. Rescue teams from around the world quickly join the effort.
They're all speaking what language? Spanish.
Good evening. Mexico City, one of the world's largest, is tonight devastated after a massive earthquake which has claimed at least 3,000 lives. The entire city centre crumbled when the quake, registering 7.9 on the Richter scale, hit during the city's early morning rush hour. Fears are held for the safety of more than 100 Australians in Mexico, including 56-year-old Adelaide teacher Harry Bone, known to be staying in a badly damaged hotel. John Wiseman reports from Mexico City.
As much as a third of Mexico City may be destroyed or seriously damaged. The huge quake has left parts of it looking like...
For months, scientists at the University of California had predicted a powerful earthquake in Mexico. But the Mexican government didn't act on the information because earthquake planning and preparation is expensive. So authorities in the world's huge capital were completely unprepared for the chaos of such a disaster.
Morning in Mexico City. Population 20 million. This is the largest metropolis in the world.
I can feel shaking. There's a little tremor. Don't be frightened. I'll give you the time. It's 7-9. Oh my God! It's still shaking a little bit, but we'll take it easy. Wait a second.
7:19 a.m. Local television is among the first of the earthquake's many casualties.
had not felt the same since after the earthquake. She knew things had changed in her hometown. As she walked the streets of her neighborhood, she saw debris, rubble, and destroyed buildings everywhere. Giant heaps of concrete littered the sidewalks. Nothing was recognizable to her anymore. Her once quiet and friendly town had now become a graveyard. All of her friends had lost their homes, too. At first, Maria had felt a deep sadness and hopelessness. It felt as though the spiritual strength she felt through her home's walls did not reflect its actual strength. But the earthquake's effects did not end with the physical damage. First, the debris was cleared away. Then the rebirth began. Where houses used to be, bars popped up. Where mom and pop stores used to be, cafes showed up. Danielle did not understand what was happening. The place she had called home now looked completely different. When she asked her parents, they explained that the government needed to rebuild the city. They said the destruction of the earthquake meant there was room for growth, for improvement, even if that meant that what had been there before would be gone forever. They said the government lied by saying the earthquake was not as bad as it actually was. They needed to make more money, look more modern, and bring Mexico back to its former glory. That was the day she learned what gentrification was.
Every city has its own context and characteristics, but Mexico City hits you in the face even as you are still on the airplane. This vast territory, fully built up where millions and millions of individuals live. And as soon as you land, you get this hustle and bustle. This is a very vibrant city. You'll definitely experience unforgettable traffic jams. You'll definitely suffer through this uncertainty of finding your place around this place.
Hello and welcome. I will not include my face in this video for privacy and safety reasons, as I will be strongly criticizing the actions of the government of Mexico. My name is Maria Garcias, and I have a few things to say about how Mexico City has reacted to the 1985 earthquake. Yes, we needed to rebuild after the destruction, but that does not mean pushing out the already displaced people to turn their land into restaurants and apartment complexes. The rent is getting so expensive that we cannot even afford to live here anymore. I understand that there are two sides to every story. I get that this process brought our city back to life after the earthquake. But now, it's no longer our city. Now, my favorite chaotic farmers markets have been replaced with chic gourmet restaurants and Parisian-styled outdoor cafes for tourists to enjoy. My home is no longer made for me. It is made for economic prosperity. It is made for capitalism. It is made for outsiders. During the earthquake, I watched my family's home collapse and crumble. I watched my friends, my neighbors, my extended family die in the earthquake. But that was not the extent of the damage. I was then forced to watch as my government gave up on my culture, pushing me out, pushing my family out. Poverty may not appear as rampant by the looks of the city, but it has simply been pushed out and hidden to improve the public image of our nation. Nationalism overpowered humanity. Greed and development became synonymous. Gentrification ruined my life more than the earthquake.